Napa Valley cabs aren't all created equal.
In Rutherford, it's all about the dust.
And our rich history.
That sets us apart.
It's what puts us on top.
Because making great Cabernet
is not really about us.
Well, we help.
It's about the vines.
The grapes.
The people.
The place.
The terroir.
The tradition.
And the commitment to quality.
From growers
to winemakers, it all comes back to the dust.
It's what makes Rutherford Cabernet the best.
Come kick up a little dust with us.
I think the beauty of wine is the balance between science and art, and you have no limit to the expression of your art.
Wine is religious, it's alcoholic, and it's romantic. What else?
I think it's a combination of sort of magic and science.
Wine to me is my life.
It adds to everything that you do.
You're growing something, you're making the product. It's really a thrill.
You're turning this agricultural product into a finished liquid that brings joy to any experience that includes wine.
The good winemakers can add magic to make a good wine, but it all starts in the vineyard.
To me, the vineyard is really the important part.
The secret to great winemaking is be smart enough to have a great vineyard.
The great wines start in the vineyards, particularly Cabernet Sauvignon.
Rutherford's a special wine-growing region. Historically, it's always been the heart and center of Napa Valley.
It's ideal for growing the Bordeaux varieties.
Which means you grow Cabernet Sauvignon,
Petit Verdot,
Malbec,
Cab Franc,
Merlot.
Cabernet is king of Rutherford, and for the last 150 years, we've been making some of the best wines in the world from this very small region.
That's what the great wine-growing regions are all about, is having this individual and unique character, and Rutherford has that like no other place in the Napa Valley.
Great location for growing Cabernets.
Cabernet is just really special here. It's just the perfect conditions for growing great grapes.
I was a baseball player in college, and I always wanted to be in the major leagues. Well, this is the major leagues of winemaking.
When you think about the history of Cabernet in the Napa Valley, it really goes back to Rutherford.
For years, the only two important Cabernet Sauvignon wineries were Inglenook and Beaulieu, both Rutherford wineries.
George de la Tour, he founded Beaulieu in 1900. His intent was to find a place in California that had the potential for making world-class wines. And through all his travels, he settled on Rutherford as the place that he saw the greatest potential for realizing that vision.
It was here that we understood for the very first time that wines from Rutherford reached the true potential of the great terroirs of anywhere else in the world.
In 1938, George de la Tour hired Andrei Chelychev to be the winemaker. By doing that, it was another step in elevating, because Andrei brought the science of winemaking to the Napa Valley.
He was spectacular, a great teacher without teaching. He was a really cool deal.
Andrei Chelychev was a really wonderful mentor to have here on the property. And one of the great teachings that he shared with us was listen to the vines. They'll tell you what to do.
Rutherford is truly the historic center of the Cabernet Sauvignon business in the Napa Valley and thus in the United States.
I had the wonderful experience in 1981 of traveling to France with Andrei Chelychev. And he is the guy who came up with the name Rutherford dust.
Rutherford dust is
The terroir.
It's the dirt.
a place.
It's the soil.
It's lots of things.
Rutherford dust refers to Rutherford vineyards.
It's everything and how it all comes together.
It is the true identity of a location, therefore a terroir.
We usually just say, it's that special character we can't describe.
Rutherford Dust is a great organization because it brings people in this community together to promote this area.
This is a trade association, and in many cases, the trade associations are only about selling wine. But from the very beginning, we said that our focus will be broader than that.
Along with vineyards and grapes, we try and do other things for our community and the world in general.
The river restoration project that the Rutherford Dust Society has been engaged in is amazing.
A number of individuals about over 10 years ago got together to see how we could protect the river. We were having floods, and it was really getting away from its natural flow.
That was to say, look, we all share this problem. Why don't we all jointly look for a solution?
The restoration team is helping the river by setting back vineyards, and we're making more habitat for the birds and the bees and all the critters that live along the river.
So what you've done so well is to come together as a community and say the environment is important to us, this river is important to us, and we're willing to do what it takes to restore it.
If you have a healthy river, you're going to have a healthy vineyard, and that's what we want.
because that's going to be sustainable for generations.
We're stewards of the land. We want to grow our grapes, but we want to do it in the right way, and we want to preserve the land so that future generations can do it in the same way we do it.
If Honig does well, and Frog's Leap does well, and Pina does well, then we're all going to survive individually and collectively.
I don't know any other group like the Rutherford Society in these other grape growing areas. I just think it's special, and there is a real sense of community here.
Being the heart of the valley and this kind of viticultural mecca, there's an energy, a culture, something that's very unique to this place, and it's hard to describe, I suppose, but you have to come here to see it, so.